A very good morning to you on this beautiful Friday morning. It's a little bit overcast, but then it's a perfect opportunity to stay in and do some beading. Now, today I'm so excited because we're kind of making a start on the Christmas makes. I come up with some earrings, Stardust earrings, which do and don't look like little Christmas baubles, but I'm sure I will show them to you and I'll let you be the judge of it. So I'm going to show you the red one first, because for me that one is really sort of screaming Christmas and I just really do love it. So what we're going to be making today is little earrings with the 40mm Stardust beads and adding some miracle beads on the top of it. Now they are available in silver and gold as well. I got 10 colors to show you, and I'm just going to show them like this because they show the best one, sort of the dangling down. Very easy make, and you can very quickly have a beautiful pair of earrings. There is the pink one. It's got gold and silver version. Next one is the purple. There we go. They're so little beautiful, like very intricate, but quite quick to make. I'm just sort of showing you one of each of the colors of the turquoise. I love this one as well, and of course you can mix the colors up as well. And the best part of it is so cheap to make a pair of earrings. You don't just have to have them as earrings, of course, because you can have them as little decorations. For if you got like a little mini tree, which I do usually have here in the office. Oh, then that one is, there we go. That's the green. And we have got the light gold. There we go. It's beautiful. Good morning, Rachel. Just me. Good morning. And then we got the yellow. There we go. Focus on it. Very. I just love it. I just really loved making them. And of course, you can make them for all sorts of different things. That's the next one. There we go. Little and sort of like little dangle all around. I am not sure what I've done with the silver version of this one, but there is the gold one of the brown as well. So I've got many different colors for you to choose from. I'm gonna put good morning, Annie. I'm gonna pop you over to the website and I'm gonna show you all the different colorways, and by now you know the drill, where you have to go. And every single time when you click on something, there's so many different little windows come up and little pop-ups on my screen. I just restarted the computer, so of course there is even more than usual. So you're gonna go to totallybeads.co.uk. Let me just, what's happening here? So we have done this technique before. We have done wire wrapping, because that's what we're gonna be doing here. And it's a really nice technique, and what we're going to be using is a smaller pin. So it's a 0.4mm pin, so it's very fluid and very easy to sort of wrap around. And then the eye pin is a little bit thicker, that's 0.7, so we're only going to make a loop on the top of that one, but I'm going to talk you through it. So let me just pop you over to the website. So by now you know the drill. totallybeads.co.uk is good morning, Mina. Very Joanne, good morning. Where you have to Camille, good morning, Carol. Where you have to go, and you're gonna click on jewelry making, you're gonna click on video tutorials, and it's gonna land you on this page where got hundreds and hundreds of tutorials. You can have a look. So I'm gonna click on Stardust earrings, because that's what we're doing today, and ta-da, there is £3.50 to make a pair of earrings. I think that's so cheap. And why I wanted to sort of do this, I know it's only the end of September, but we're like 3 months away from Christmas, but preparing for Christmas, and Christmas is one of my favorite holidays. Oh, and this is not, let me just come back and go back. For some reason my screen is not scrolling. Preparing for Christmas, it takes time, but I think a little handmade gift is so nice for friends and family, loved ones, really, and this is something what you can do. So we do have the individual colors, all £3.50, or what we did, and I'm gonna have to come back and change the screen again and then just change back so you can see it. We have done a mega bundle which you can have either gold or silver, where you get all 10 colors for £21.99. so literally is £2.90 to make a pair of earrings, and I think that's just great. But let's get started. So let's I'm gonna put you back down on my mat and show you how to make them and how easy it is to make them. So what color you could do multicolors. So if you go for the bundle, you could do multicolors of little wrapped baubles on there if you like. So you could do all sorts of different colors. I'm gonna demo with the gold, and actually, you know what, let's do what color shall we do? Just go down on the mat. What color shall we do? I like them all, and they all equally really nice little makes. I'm going to zoom in more. There we go, so you can see it better. You know, very easily. And we're going to be using this bead cap at the top, which is kind of sort of gives it the shape. So what we're going to be using, we're going to be using a Stardust bead. Let me know in the chat if you got any preference of the color, what you want me to demo with. And we're going to be using these 0.4 pins. We're going to need 11 of them. We're going to be using one of these little bead caps at the top. That's what we're going to be connecting it all up. We're going to need one of the eye pins, and we're going to need some jump rings, and we're going to need an air wire, which I'll find in the other mat just in a second. So we're going to use 0.3 jump rings. Now, if you do find these 0.3 ones, I didn't find them too tricky to put on, although they're quite small, but you can go up to 0.4 if you like. However, with the 0.3, they just, let me just show you a different color, this one. With the 0.3, this sort of kind of matches the size of the loop we are creating, so it disappears on there. So it's quite sort of nice, little and neat to use the 0.3 ones on this project. Right. So red and green, community saying Christmas green. I'm gonna grab the green out for sure, and then we could do, and the red is there. So what we could do green at the bottom and then red at the top. So mixing the colors already. So you're gonna have to go for the bundle. Right, so miracle beads are these little acrylic beads, so very lightweight, but they have got this sort of illusion that they almost like lit up, depending on, they've got like little mini batteries in them, but no, they haven't, I'm just joking. But depending on how the light is hitting them, they sort of give you an illusion in a bead. So what I'm going to be doing is I need to create 11 wrapped loops. So I'm going to pop this bead on the bottom. Now if you do get the silver one, I just want to point something out to you. So with the silver one, because I wanted to still use the 0.4 small head pins. There we go, let me just grab one so I can show it to you. I wanted to use the very small ones, so it's really easy to wrap around. Because they're smaller, they got a smaller head as well. So the gold one, we absolutely fine. They got a tiny bit little heads. I don't know if you can see, but the silver's got a tiny bit smaller head. So if you do get the silver one, you're gonna get some little seed beads in the pack as well, and just pop a little seed bead on before you add your bead on, so it makes sure that it doesn't come through, just sort of stops the bead coming off the other side of the pin. Because if I take that bead off, it's no problem for the gold, only for the silver the bead can sort of come through it because the end is very small. So that's the only difference we have between the gold and the silver, but everything else is very much the same. So I added my bead on there. Let me just get this out of the background so the camera is not focusing on it. I'm adding my bead on there. Rich is saying, I love the Stardust beads. I love them too. They're so sort of sparkly, very elegant. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my round nose pliers and I'm going to use a flat nose plier. So what I usually do, I grab just by the tip of my pliers, I grab the very base of my head pin, right above the bead. Then I'm going to turn this sort of 90 degrees, just like that. And then at this point, let the camera focus on it. I'm going to readjust my pliers. So I'm going to turn my pliers sort of a 90 degree. So the bead is sort of on the one of the ends of that round nose plier. Just turn it a little bit more. There we go. And then what I'm going to do, and half of this I can do by hand and half of it I'm going to do by holding another plier. So I'm going to bring this around. Let me grab with the plier. Bring it around all the way, just like that. Then I'm going to readjust it again, and I'm going to show you this again and again, so don't worry. So again, I'm going to turn it 90 degrees. So now I'm exposing the wire at the bottom of this, just above the bead, which is that space I need to wrap the remaining wire around it. So I'm just going to grab another pliers and I'm going to start wrapping. Now it doesn't matter if you turn it left to right or right to left or up and down, as long as you're going around that wire and wrapping this at the top, you're doing good. So I'm going to go in, probably leaving a little bit of tail, about 1 centimeter there. Then I'm going to go ahead and with the flash end of my cutters, I'm going to cut as close as I can to the coil. I just put my finger over there so the little end doesn't fly across the room. So now, before I go any further, I'm not sure if I bring it up, is this going to focus? Yes. So you can see the end there. It's just sticking out a tiny bit, just a millimeter. So what I like to do is to get my chain nose again and just go in and just tuck the end in the coil. So I think it's quite important because that stops anything, you know, rubbing onto or catching onto your earring or your hair getting caught in it. So holding it right down at the base, turning it 90 degrees, readjusting the plier, bringing it the other way, all the way around, readjusting the plier again. So I'm exposing the wire at the bottom and I am ready to go and wrap around. So I'm going to do 3 green and the rest of them I'm going to do red. There we go. And just keep wrapping around until I'm happy. I don't have to wrap around too long if I don't want to. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut that end, tuck it in, and I'm ready to do the next one. How I like to do this when I do a project like this, and especially like if you get the bundle and you get to make 10 air wires, I sort of like to sit there, make up all the wrap loops, and you can make up them quite quickly and then come back to it and do sort of the next step, and then I would sort of cut them off and tidy them up, and then I would add them to the bead cap and assemble the earring itself. So kind of sort of do it step by step, repeating. I'm just going to bring around another half, again cutting the end, tucking it in. There we go, and popping it to the side. So I got 3 green for the bottom, which I'm going to add. Let's add it on it right now. So I'm going to open up this eye pin. I'm going to open up the bottom loop by sort of twisting it towards me just a tiny bit, enough that it's opened up, so now I can pop these on the bottom. And then I'm going to close it back in. So I'm going to twist it back towards the pin. So this is ready for me to sort of do the next step. And I'm just going to pop this to the side, and I need 8 more of the red ones to go to the top. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's it. So I love doing wrap loops. Let me know what your preference. Do you prefer wrap loops, or do you prefer just sort of do a coil loop at the top? Well, loop or coil loop, I guess, on your hat pins. So this is why I love working with sort of thinner wire, because you can wrap it. With the thicker one, it's quite harsh on the hand if you're trying to wrap it. So you can only really do it with 0.5 or thinner. I'm just going to keep going in and quickly making these. So this is what I usually do. I don't go all the way, because I think it's sort of picking up and putting down the pliers every time. So just kind of sort of like to sit there in front of the telly, wrap it, pop it to the side, do the next one, and very quickly I can make a whole pile of them. So bend 90 degrees, turn, bend it all the way back around, turn the pliers, exposing that little wire at the bottom, and then I'm ready to wrap around. And I'm very quickly, I'm not so much sort of worried to keep the end of this wire straight, because I'm going to be cutting it off anyway. So I can do them really, really quickly, holding it at the tip, bending it 90 degrees, turning the plier, bending it all the way around the opposite direction, turning the plier, exposing that little wire at the bottom, the little gap I left, and then wrapping the rest of the wire around that. Now you can wrap as much as you need. You can always, if it bends out of shape a little bit, just go back and correct it, push and pull it as you need to. There we go. I'm just going to keep on going and making the next 4 as well. So grabbing the end 90 degrees, repositioning the plier, bringing it all the way around, repositioning the plier, and then I'm ready to wrap around. Very sort of quick to do it this way. Next one. Heather's saying, hi Kitty, sorry I'm late. I work. These look lovely, red and green, very festive. Yes, so we kinda, so I know it's 3 months away from Christmas, but wherever you go now, you go into the shops and supermarkets, everybody's getting out their Christmas decorations, and sort of Christmas is on like the corner of our eyes, I guess, everywhere. And Christmas is my favorite holiday, because we get to make and craft and create so many lovely things for it. But you can't, sometimes you do have to start a little bit earlier, because the making handmade gifts, which I think are so special, and I love when anybody makes me something, because it's not just sort of the materials, it's the time and the effort and the thought they put into it. I think it's really, really special. However, if you're gonna make handmade gifts for sort of friends and family, loved ones, we're gonna have to start a bit early, because December, like, it's always so manic with so many different things you have to do. So that's what I like to do in like end of September, this sort of time, November definitely, just to start to make a few little bits and put it to the side. And then when December comes, I got things I made. So I got all 8 of them wrapped there. So good morning, Sheila. Anastasia, good morning. So what I'm going to do, the next one is I'm going to trim it. So I'm just going to pop that back on that little round nose. I'm going to trim it off as close as I can. There we go. Grab the other pair of pliers, tuck the end in, down it goes. Next one, picking it up, trimming it, tucking the end in, So very, very quickly you can do all the little wrapped loops. And even if I like making a bracelet or anything, you know, with wrapped looped jewelry, I like to make all the wrapped loops one, and then sort of have little piles of them. There's something really sort of satisfying for your eye when you're making the components and your little pile is just sort of growing and growing. Just me saying wrap loops are harder for me, but I'm making a rosary style necklace these days, so I'm getting better by the hour. Ah, bless you. I think it all depends on the wire, the thickness of the wire. When you try to do wrap loops with like a thicker wire than 0.5, and these are 0.4, so they are really super easy to wrap. When you're trying to do something with sort of thicker than 0.5, it's harder to wrap around because there is more resistance in the wire itself. So I wouldn't wrap anything thicker than 0.5. And I guess it's if I just made a little loop on the top of this with the thinner wire, you run the risk that the loop could open up. So, but if it's like 0.6, 0.7 wire, they are quite strong and they're not going to open up. So anything below 0.5, right? So the next step we're going to do is we're going to add these little loops onto this little bead cap here. So I'm going to grab two chain nose pliers. I'm going to pick up the jump rings, well, one by a time. I'm going to try to pick it up with a little cut right at the top, and I'm going to pick up, well, I'm going to hold the other side with the other pliers and twist it towards me. I'm going to add it on to the hole in the bead cap, and I'm going to add on one of these little wrapped looped beads and then close it back in. I want to make sure I close this 100% because I don't want this sort of to fall off anywhere. Sometimes when you're working with smaller jump ring, they sort of semi-open because they had to cut them because they coil the wire, then they cut them to be able to make the little jump rings. So when I'm working with small jump rings, I'm really paying attention to that it's completely closed. But again, this jump ring is 0.7 wire, so it's a little bit thinner and easier to manipulate than usually we are using 1mm wires, well, the jump rings. So the jump ring diameter might be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10mm, but the wire which the jump ring was made is 1mm, so it's harder to sort of shape it. And this one is 0.7, so it's really easy. I can quite easily push it and pull it as I need to. So although they're smaller, they are easier to work with. There we go, just adding the next one. And closing it back in. Picking up the next jump ring. Adding it on to this first. And the bead, we almost done all the way around. And closing it back in. Oh, just double checking. Yes, it's closed. Next jump ring. as they're saying peace and love to everyone. Just popping it on there. I suppose this is the all of the make. The whole of this make, this is the trickiest part when you're adding the jump rings on. So make sure your chain nose pliers are sort of quite thin at the end, because if they're thicker, they will be sort of taking up space on the jump ring more than if they're thin at the end, or you just only grab them by the end. You got plenty left there to be able to manipulate the jump ring, sort of open it and then close it. So I'm just adding the last one on. And I'm just popping this on. So it's £3.50 to make one earring, or if you want a big bundle which makes 10 pairs, then it's £21.99, so it's £2.19 to make a pair for little Stardust earrings. But I I have to admit, I'm probably going to use this as I got a little tree which I usually put up here in the office, and I think they would look really cute on there if I had all of them on there. Right, I'm gonna we made this earlier, so I'm gonna add this Stardust bead on there. I'm gonna add this from the bottom, just sort of shake it so they all come out from underneath. There we go. So the beads are sort of sit above it. Says me they sit above it, and then I drop it all. There we go. So I'm gonna hold the bottom so they sort of just sitting there. I'm gonna add one miracle bead to the top, just sort of as a little decoration, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. So I'm gonna grab this by the end, I'm gonna turn this sort of 90 degrees, then I'm gonna turn my plier, but I'm gonna hold it further down because I want a larger loop, and probably about halfway, and then I'm gonna bring this all the way around. So, and what I like to do is, as I'm holding this, perhaps just not all the way, but just reposition the plier there a little bit, grab this end with another pair of pliers, and I'm going to bring it around, and I'm going to bring it past the bead and sort of just like almost loop it up. And when I release this, we got a very nice sort of almost round shape loop there, and with the wire sort of not coiling, but sort of going to the side. Come on camera, focus on it. And then I'm gonna go in with the cutters and just trim this excess right there. So the flesh part of my cutters is against the bead, the little miracle bead. And then what I have here is a little bit of an open loop, sort of already opened up. We could have made the loop and then sort of open it up to add something on it, but it's kind of cuts out a step, because as this loop is a little bit open to the side, because I pulled it to the side, I can add the air wire on it straight away, and all I have to do is to grab this end and then push it down towards the base. So I got a nice closed loop there, and there we go. And I'm just going to change the camera. There we go. We got our little sort of bauble earring. If I put my hand in front of it, so we'll focus on it. There we go. I love it. I think it just looks really, really cute. So they are available in gold and silver. I'm going to hold this silver one up for you. And there is a mega bundle as well for the gold and the silver. Other than that, there is £3.50 to make. So, you know, friends, family, it's something always very special when you do handmade gifts. Come on, these things so cute. So I think they are really cute as well. I could even imagine them to have them on the window, sort of going along, to as a little window decoration to make it like a banter, I think. What I don't know what the word I'm looking for. It's too early in the morning, so. Oh, Camille saying little fat round people. Yeah, actually, if you look at that, it's kind of. Oh, what was it called? Christopher used to always watch it. Oh, was it called? One of these cartoons, which has had this white figure, which was your healthcare assistant or something like that. That sort of looked like that. I can't remember what was the name on it. This was like 10 years ago. But yeah, it looks like that. Right, my lovelies. Thank you very much for watching. I am gonna go and have some breakfast, and then I'm heading into the Bead Club today. We are doing peyote wave still, and let me just grab this. I got everything sort of joined up. So we did a straight version of it, and now we're doing sort of a curved version of peyote wave in Bead Club today. So that's what I am going to be doing. Other than that, everybody have a beautiful weekend. Laura is with you next week. Do check these out, because at £3.50 a pair of earrings, or if you go for the bundle, they're only £2.19 this weekend. So there is loads of little presents you can make for the festive season coming up. So everybody, thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Bye bye bye.